Jedi. The Force will be with you, always.
Petaluma, and it's nice to be with you. And today we're at a special building in Petaluma that has been here historically almost forever. It's near the Petaluma Museum on B Street in the heart of. And with me is John Crowley. And John, tell us about this building.
Well, this building houses a really innovative new business, about 2 years old, called Work Petaluma. And we're going to have Natasha on in a minute or two, but she's going to explain a little bit better what it is. It's shared office spaces. It's a community of people who normally might work from home, but they're coming to share resources, share not just sharing a color photocopier and Wi-Fi, but they're actually creating and sharing interesting ideas. It's kind of seems to gather that innovative mind that is the entrepreneur, and there's a lot of interesting stuff going on in Petaluma, and it seems to be happening here in Work Petaluma. So you buy a membership. I'll let Natasha explain all that, but you buy a membership, and then you can come here anytime and work. There are shared work desks and spaces and things like that. It's a great new innovative thing. I believe it started in Seattle and San Francisco about 10 years ago, this whole idea of, sharing resources. And Matt and Natasha have done a fantastic job. It's right, as you say, it's right across the road from Acre Coffee, so there's good coffee as well. And right beside the Petaluma Museum. And anybody who works from home should come and check this place out. It's an amazing addition to Petaluma, and it's just packed and really is great.
So if someone works online, individual sole proprietorship, they have somebody when it gets to technology to bounce ideas off of, or just because of the camaraderie?
Yeah, absolutely. We just about 10 minutes ago they have every Tuesday morning 10 o'clock around a big coffee table, just a conversation. What kind of introduce yourself? What are you working on? You might have a Java programmer here, or you might have somebody creating an app. There's a lot of computer development going on here. So there is definitely collaboration going on there. Design teams, whatever it is, across the whole spectrum of just business. And it's great to see. So they do these kinds of things on a Tuesday morning, but they also have a very innovative program of workshops that they do, and again, that help business thrive in Petaluma. So, yeah.
So let's take a pause and bring Natasha in, and let's talk about what's going on here with the workforce and find out how many people are participating in this type of business model right here in historic Petaluma.
We have Natasha over here, and Natasha and Matt have set up this wonderful organization called Work Petaluma that I think it's created a buzz in Petaluma, and I'm going to let Natasha tell us all about it. So, Natasha, what's going on here?
Well, lots of stuff is going on here. Work Petaluma is a co-working space in downtown Petaluma. Mm-hmm. We are the only one around, and we are actually a hub for entrepreneurs, freelancers, telecommuters. Actually, throughout much of the North Bay, we actually get people coming up from other towns as well. But it's a place for people to work. It started off as just mainly a workspace, so an alternative to working from home or working from the coffee shop or commuting long distances. Yeah. And then throughout time, we've started creating programming along with that. So we have a coffee social every week so people can get to know each other. Yeah. Always turns into a lively conversation. Exactly. It's a great way for people to get to know each other and also bring up projects they're working on, celebrate victories, talk about setbacks, and get some advice. Yeah. And then we also have Friday classes, lunchtime lessons we call them. So for business people, businesses, freelancers wanting to learn something new.
Yeah, I think I've been to a few of them, and I really appreciate it. you've got a lot of really great people here, and I just love the interaction between people. And yeah, as you said, you can tell people about challenges or successes, and then somebody will step in and say, oh yeah, I know how to fix that or help you with that. So
exactly, it gives you all the benefits of having an office that you might miss from working from home, like colleagues and people to grab coffee with. We have our holiday parties and events. Sometimes we come down and do trivia night down at Aqus. So it gives you that social aspect and a lot of great ways of connecting. So with various from programmers connecting with writers, and so a lot of great cross-pollination.
Tell me a little bit about the you've got workshops. You've got Friday lunchtime things, and you've also got workshops. So we've got about 30
I can do that in 30 seconds. So the lunchtime lessons are only an hour long, and we found that that's not really enough time to dive deep into certain topics. So we were doing random one-off workshops, but this year we decided to try something new. So you can take just one, or you can take them in series, but they kind of go in a logical order, so they build upon each other. So we started off with, say, if you want to do a video workshop because you want to do some video for your website or your blog, you may need to know what kind of messaging you want to be in that, or what your brand is. So you can take the class before that and get a little bit more expertise in that area and build upon it, and then you'll know what to do with the video.
Great. And the website is?
workpetaluma.com.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, that was interesting to talk to Natasha about what's going on here at the Tinney building.
It is quite amazing. It's brought some incredible energy to Petaluma, and I love it. I'm part of this as well. I work from, obviously, my cafe as well, and I work here, and just a great set of people here. So.
All right, so speaking of energy, we've had this program, Adopt a Park. Tennis courts, they always need maintaining. And I know you had some labor of love taking place at the tennis courts over at Petaluma High School recently. Tell us about that.
Yeah, actually, this was innovation. Actually, Bob Spurgeon, I think it is, yes. He sent out an email to everybody around the Petaluma High School. There's a email group. And said, let's do a little cleanup. So Saturday morning we met and trimmed the hedges and brushed and raked and made the place look beautiful. And it's, as I say, right around the Petaluma High School tennis courts. And it's that kind of community engagement that really I like about Petaluma. It's kind of, and nobody's kind of afraid to put themselves out and say, hey, let's go do this. And it was great to see so many people show up and pitch in. It only took about, I think everybody was done by 11:30 in the morning. Bob, I think, was there a bit earlier than I was, but it was nice to see, and you get to meet your neighbors. And it was just I think we've got some footage right here that we'll show you, and that's what Petaluma is. It's that willingness to get out and just do stuff and clean up your neighborhood and make it a better place to live, because that's all we all want, is a better place to live. And I think we've already gone a long way here in Petaluma, and I was delighted to be part of that, and great to see the leadership of just somebody putting that out there and spearheading that. So
there's so many different programs in town along that lines. Adopt a Park was one, and over near the Aqus there actually was a little small park that was built on a Rebuilding Together weekend. Tell us about that. How's that park going?
That's going very well. I think Jane Hamilton from Rebuilding Petaluma Together spearheaded that probably about 5 years ago, and it took a pretty nasty looking area that it was kind of the bottom of a street that was full of trash, and just a lot of nasty stuff went on down there. Put some benches in, some really nice trees, and put a trash can there, and just turned it into a beautiful, they're called pocket parks, the end of H Street, just beside Aqus Cafe, and really made that, kind of took what was pretty horrible and turned it into something very useful. So there's people sitting there, and there's people, I think, fishing from there, but it's a really, really nice kind of transformation. And that, again, was a lot of people just coming out to volunteer to create a nice place in Petaluma.
So adopt a park, fix a tennis court, attend a nonprofit fundraiser, and enjoy beautiful spring weather in what should be the middle of winter. Whatever happened to El Nino? Isn't this great?
Well, El Nino was here a little bit a few weeks ago, and hopefully it'll come back, because I think we still need a little water.
You know what we need? We need water, but we don't need a warm rain that melts the snowpack in the Sierras. So we've got to really be careful about what it is we hope we get now. Because wouldn't that be terrible to see all that snowpack that's accumulated up there? Because that really is the water supply.
It is, yeah. And I know a lot of people are very happy to see the snows there. All those businesses up there, delighted to see it. I think they've had a couple of hard years, but I think this year hopefully we'll come back. I haven't been up skiing yet. Do you ski?
Well, I had ankle surgery in June, so I'm lucky to be back playing golf, and I am not going to ski this year. I don't know if I'll ski next year or not, but hopefully it'll snow and have the opportunity to do so. But I'm not going to ski this year. So, of course, it would be the best ski season since 1982 because, sometimes politicians don't keep their word. Maybe I'll be up there skiing. Who knows?
Careful what you say about skiing.
Yes, it's a slippery slope up there. Yeah, right down you go. So we've got a lot of things going on in the community, some really great things.
Yes, one of the first things I want to let everybody know, especially our nonprofit community, is we're restarting the nonprofit mixer. It's Wednesday, March 2nd at the Petaluma Museum. And the idea behind that is to gather all the nonprofits in town and people who are interested in nonprofits in town. So you've got people who might want to be on boards, might want to volunteer. How do you find out about it? What's the best one to where do I fit in? What works for me? So come to this event. It's a free event. There'll be all the nonprofits in Petaluma will be represented there. Have conversations with the executive directors, with the boards, see whether you can fit in. So it's kind of twofold. What we're doing there is one, to get all the nonprofits and especially the board members of each of the nonprofits to get to know the other board members of the other nonprofits here in Petaluma. It's amazing to see what happens and what bubbles out of those kind of relationships when people start getting to know each other. So that's kind of one aspect of it, get everybody to know each other because we've all got the same kind of issues. Again, we all want to create a nice place to live. They all have similar kind of issues. Who are the grant writers in town? What kind of software do you use? What's the best? All those kind of things that are specific to running a nonprofit. Again, come and have a conversation with other people who are having the same issues.
Talking about trying to figure out where you fit in. Not too long ago, I was contacted by one of the charities, and I thought, maybe this is where I fit in. They're having a fundraiser. They lock you up in jail. A lot of people think that I ought to be in jail. So I thought, well, maybe that fits. And I guess it's going to be at Lagunitas, which certainly fits.
Do they lock you up with a keg of beer too?
No, I don't know. So I'm going to explore this and find out. It's coming up on February 24th, and it'll be at Lagunitas. But the point of it is to raise money for research and facilities for Lou Gehrig's disease and for muscular dystrophy. And so that's the type of thing that I don't mind calling, for instance, the developers and ask them if they would contribute. I haven't asked them for political campaign contributions in years, so they'll be surprised to hear from me. We'll see if they want to get me out of jail. And I say, no, you're finally where you belong. We hope you sit there until you rot. Now, if I do sit in jail, I'll be at Lagunitas, so how bad could it be, right?
That can't be too bad at all, and I'm sure the developers will support that great cause. And not all developers are bad. I live in a house that is developed by a developer, and this was a great development that somebody built. I'm not sure when, but I love it. So you can't get too hard on the
It's just tongue in cheek, but they'll be surprised to hear from me. But I don't do technology so well, so maybe it'll wind up on Facebook page, maybe it won't. But I don't think the developers are monitoring my Facebook page anyway. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to use old technology. I'm going to bring the phone book with me, and I'll have my cell phone, and then I can just call people and say, hey, it's for a good cause,
Good.
Yeah, go to research, get the money. Seriously, that's a disease that they're making progress on, and there's a lot to it, and there's a lot of expense to the folks that are suffering and plagued with that illness that you can make their quality of life better. So I was glad to volunteer my time for that, and we'll see. I've never done anything like that. I know they've done all sorts of things with pouring buckets of ice on people to raise money for that. I was going to volunteer for that, and then I was talked out of it because I have some health issues that with back spasms and whatnot that I thought, maybe that is not what I want to do. But jail at Lagunitas, okay, I can go for that.
Okay. So when is that again?
That's coming up. It's on February 24th, and I don't know much about it, but when we do this program next month, I'll be able to tell you about it and what my experience was. And I hope that we can raise some money for ALS because eventually going to find an answer and a cure.
Okay. But if people want to donate, do they go to your website?
If people want to donate, send me an email to daveglass@comcast.net, and we will make sure that we get back in touch with you as to how you can donate for that. I'm kind of a low-tech guy. I don't know how to set this up on the on the internet, and so I'm not going to do that. But I just will try and find a home for your funds. It's tax deductible. Unlike political contributions, this is tax-deductible contribution, and I'm sure that people donate to charities all the time. This is one that the money will go to help people that are plagued with that illness and also to help fund research.
Yeah, good. Well, I'm sure there's going to be plenty of techies here that can help you sort that issue.
All right. Well, hey, there's an idea. I'm going to make a whole bunch of new friends.
So anyway, just want to wrap up on the nonprofit mixer, March 2nd, 5:30 p.m., Petaluma Museum. If you're interested, if you're in the nonprofit world or interested in getting into the nonprofit world, be there. Free event, facilitated. We do some speed networking. We do some a whole bunch of kind of fun things to get everybody connected with everybody else. Okay, next item. Really excited about this thing. We started this a couple of weeks ago, and it's called the Coder Dojo.
What?
Yep. Yeah, I thought you might say that. I'm going to get the flyer here. Coder Dojo. There's a lot of kids out there between the ages of 8 and 18 who are interested in coding, actual computer coding, learning JavaScript, learning Python, learning C, learning how to build games, whatever it is, build apps, build websites. So we started this thing. Me and a couple of friends actually from here started this thing. It's called the Coder Dojo at the Petaluma Library. So we started it. Petaluma Library, Salmon Elephant, and Aqus Community have come together to create this event. It's a weekly event starting at 4:30 in the afternoon at the library. We're welcoming everybody who is interested in computers or think they might be interested in computers from the ages of 8 through 17. Beginners welcome. Learn to code. Free for everybody. Bring a laptop if you have one. If you don't have one, doesn't matter. The library provides laptops and computers there. It's a great way to get your kid who's interested in computers, get them in an environment where they can share with other kids, where they can have a little kind of leading from. There's going to be some people who are kind of techie people. I used to be a systems programmer a long, long time ago. Still have a little tech, although I haven't quite lost it. But we've got a lot of other really, really kind of great techie people there who can help kids get into, open up under the covers and see how things work. There's some great things out there from MIT. Scratch is a wonderful computer program that teaches kids how to code. And it blew me away. We've already been doing this for a couple of weeks now. And if you want to find out more information, go to aquasnews.com. or just go to the Petaluma Library, or just show up every Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. at the Petaluma Library, and you will be amazed. Bring your kids and see what happens.
Learn to code, learn to develop a website, and that's fantastic.
So, one other thing that I want to do, again, what is Aqus Community about? It's about bringing people together. Just to create relationships. And what happens when you bring people together with similar interests? You create relationships, long-lasting relationships, and you make the place a better place to live. You want to kind of, I'm always amazed at where I live, the street, we all kind of know each other. We're not kind of buddy, 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 but we know each other. We've been in each other. We know we'll give each other keys to look after our plants and stuff like that when we're away. And it just creates a nicer, it's actually a safer place to live when people know each other. But one of the things that we've come up with recently is how do you get all those people who typically work alone, how do you get them all together? For example, Matt and Natasha have done a wonderful job here of getting all the techies who typically work on a computer, either in a coffee shop or at home, get them all together in this space and have connected them all. And it's, again, created, out of that has flourished a whole bunch of really, really fun things. So we've come up with a new thing called Drinks with Shrinks. Again, it sounds a little interesting, but again, it's that kind of, it's the people in Petaluma who are involved in that business, therapy counselors, psychotherapists, any person who's a kind of a therapist. Generally, how do they meet other people in the same profession? So a friend of mine who is a therapist came up with this idea, and we're launching it. We're going to be doing this thing on, when is it? March 31st, Thursday, 5 to 7. It's just a happy hour with therapists.
You think you're going to try this on a monthly basis, or is this floated out there once and see what happens and go from there?
I'm not sure whether we're going to do it monthly basis, but I know this is going to be a successful thing. I've already run it by a couple of therapists that I know, and they're delighted because they want to actually connect with other therapists. Certainly the therapy world is very much a referral-based business, so it's good to know all the therapists in town. I mean, if you're a therapist, you want to know kind of who are the other people in town and maybe refer them at some later date. But the idea is to just create a connectedness between the therapists. And so show up. It's at Aqus Cafe, extremely happy hour with therapists. And March 31st, 5 to 7 p.m. And, it's about connecting. It'll be networking, conversation, a lot of laughs, and good times.
I wonder if I accidentally should walk in the door there. Could you imagine that? A bar full of therapists and a crazy politician. Boy, would they have a field day.
There must be a joke there. Two therapists and the mayor walking into a bar.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. One thing that another wonderful kind of fun thing that we're doing here is I've gotten into the world of juggling recently, and juggling is one of the things that has an amazing side effects, if you will, but really, really positive things. If you can juggle, and you juggle from, you juggle once or twice a week from it stays off and helps prevent a lot of the like Alzheimer's and dementia, lowers blood pressure, helps concentration. It's just an amazing amount, a litany of things that really just will improve your life and help you focus and help you. My kids use it. They study, then they'll get up and they'll juggle for a little bit. It helps to meditate, clear your mind. It's great for kids. They're learning and doing a whole bunch of interesting science on what juggling can do. Individual juggling, but then also juggling with a partner or with multiple people. Again, that changes the whole energy in the room. And one of the things we're going to be doing is on March 26th, we're going to have the very first Aqus Petaluma Juggle In. And that's going to be on the green at Foundry Wharf at 1 p.m. And we're going to try and teach 100 people how to juggle.
Okay, so this is an El Nino year. And even though we have a break here, so I can just see it. One hand for the umbrella, one hand for the juggling.
Hey, we might be juggling umbrellas too. We'll see. But hopefully we're going to have good weather. We've got a morning concert that day at the cafe. It's spring break, so it's kind of welcome back to all the kids who are coming back from college. I'd say morning concert, and then we migrate into teaching everybody to juggle. And we're looking for people who can juggle. We're building these wonderful juggling balls. Myself and my mentee have been creating these out of tennis balls. You chop them open, fill them full of beans, and then cover them in rubber balloons. You just chop the end off and squeeze a balloon over it, and there we go.
Okay.
A couple of
See, John's starting to get there, because when you can do two balls with one hand, So the key to me when I watch jugglers is the toss. And the toss is amazingly consistent. And I guess that allows the timing to be calculated.
Exactly. So what you do is start off with 2 balls, and you're going to go throw, throw, catch, catch. And the trick about learning to juggle is throwing it consistently. The catching will just come naturally because you hold your hand out. If you can throw this ball quite naturally into the other, so you're going to throw, throw, catch, catch. Do that, and you can consistently get it to land up about here. Then you can move on to the 3rd ball. But if you can't juggle, come down on March 26th, and we'll teach you how, and it will change your life. It really will. If you can juggle consistently once a week from now till we go on to the next life, well, then life will be a lot better for us. So
it's amazing when you watch a juggler that is really skilled, because the act that comes to mind is where they're juggling an apple and always taking a bite out of the apple as it goes around and telling a story at the same time, and they just never miss. They just keep going right on through with their story.
Yeah. Well, I hope to get there sometime soon. As I say, I'm learning to juggle now. It's something that it's not you can't just learn in 20 minutes or so. It does take consistent and repetitive practice. And so I'm in the middle of learning. By March 26th, I will know how to juggle, I promise.
All right, so what else is happening around town?
Okay, so we've got a couple of fun things. We've got an art. Here we are. Art Shapes the World. This is the Petaluma Arts Center. It's a youth art exhibition starting March 19th. It goes through March 5th. We have a reception on the February 19th, it's a Friday, at the Petaluma Arts Center. Again, what's happening at the Petaluma Arts Center is incredible. There's great energy happening there. There's a whole lot of new and exciting exhibits there. You remember the Degas, you remember there was just a whole bunch of things. So I just want to make sure that people know about that. And then there's a couple of presentations that go to the website, petalumaartscenter.com. You'll see a whole bunch of some lecture series and some presentations about how art changes you. So
I'm going to thank you. Next month, we're going to talk about the Bernie Sanders episode, because by the time this gets on the air, it will have be right there on the brink of happening. Yes. So we'll get to find out. Next month, we'll find out more information, because there'll be more primary results and more clarity and definition. And it is always a pleasure to talk to you. I enjoy getting the positive insights into what is going on in our community. And thank you for all the work you do. You are a good egg.
Thank you very much indeed. Really appreciate it.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
A Jedi uses the Force.
This is the weapon of the Jedi. The Force will be with you always.